can't have all the walk-ons, the crazy walk-ons and everything else. If someone is just going to say, well, that was a great game, that really was. What a 170 finish. Superb. It'd fall flat on his face. Sid has helped the sport of darts be what it is today.
When Alexander of Macedonia was 33, he cried salt tears because there were no more worlds to conquer. Bristow's only 27. That line wasn't written in advance. It wasn't rehearsed. It erupted spontaneously from a commentary box in the middle of a darts match, delivered by a Geordie coal miner's son who'd studied history at Cambridge. And in that moment, darts commentary was never the same again. How did a man who once lost a college darts match to trainee Vickers become the most beloved voice in all of sports broadcasting? How did his words transform a pub game into a televised phenomenon watched by millions? And why, more than a decade after his death, does every world champion in darts lift a trophy bearing his name? This is the story of Sid Waddell, the man who saw potential where others saw impossibility, the genius who practiced his ad-libs, the Shakespeare of the Oche, the voice who became the soul of darts. Sidney Waddell was born on the 10th of August, 1940, in Alnwick, Northumberland, into a world where your father's profession was supposed to become your destiny. His father Bob worked deep underground as a coal miner, breathing coal dust and risking his life in the darkness. But Bob and his wife Martha made a fierce decision. Neither Sidney nor his brother Derek would ever follow him down those mines. They pushed their son relentlessly toward education. Sid excelled at Morpeth Grammar School, particularly in English and history, subjects that would later fuel his extraordinary commentary style. His parents' sacrifice paid off remarkably when, in 1958, he won an open scholarship to St. John's College, Cambridge, one of Britain's most prestigious universities. At Cambridge, studying modern history, Sid seemed destined for an academic career. He played rugby for the university's second team, thriving in the physical competition. Then, injury struck. Unable to continue playing rugby, he discovered darts. He even captained the Cambridge darts team, though he later admitted with characteristic humour that they were thoroughly beaten in the college final by a team of trainee Vickers from Selwyn College. In 1961, Sid graduated with a 2-1 honours degree. The miner's son had conquered Cambridge, but his greatest conquest was still ahead. After Cambridge, Sid joined academia briefly before the lure of television proved irresistible. In 1966, he joined Granada Television, and by 1968 had moved to Yorkshire Television, where he produced over 600 episodes of the regional news programme Calendar. Television production suited him, but something was missing. He wanted to create, not just produce. Then came 1972, and Sid's revolutionary idea, the Indoor League. While others dismissed pub games as unworthy of serious television coverage, Sid saw their raw appeal, their working-class authenticity, their genuine drama. The show featured darts, pool, arm wrestling, bar billiards, and shove ha'penny, bringing these grassroots competitions to living rooms across Britain. The Indoor League became a phenomenon, running for 6 series until 1977. More importantly, it launched 2 careers that would become inseparable from darts history, Sid's own and that of Dave Lanning, his co-commentator. Their chemistry was instant, their partnership telepathic. They'd reunite years later to change darts forever. During this period, Sid also created children's television shows including The Flaxton Boys, and later the hugely successful Jossie's Giants and Sloggers. His versatility was remarkable, but darts remained his passion, calling him back repeatedly. In 1976, Sid joined the BBC Sports Department. The following year, he commentated on his first darts match, and something clicked. His voice, thick with Geordie warmth, combined with his historian's perspective and his genuine love for the sport's characters, created commentary that was part poetry, part comedy, part academic lecture, and entirely captivating. BBC executives were initially skeptical. Sid later recalled, "They let me have a go at darts commentating for the BBC, when the BBC executives were saying it would go on television over their dead bodies, and they could write what they knew about darts on a postcard." But audiences disagreed violently with those executives. The 1983 World Championship final drew a staggering 8.3 million viewers, Darts had become must-watch television, and Sid's commentary was inseparable from its appeal. His style was unprecedented. A BBC producer once reprimanded him for referencing Moses, Rod Stewart, and Ivanhoe, all in 5 minutes of commentary. The BBC bosses, recognizing genius when they heard it, overruled the complaint and gave Sid complete freedom. Rod Studd, who later shared the commentary box with Sid, revealed the secret. He was chuntering to himself, and I said, "What are you doing there, Sid?" He said, "I'm practicing my ad-libs, kidder. That is genius." In 1993, professional darts fractured. Top players broke away from the British Darts Organisation to form the Professional Darts Corporation, seeking better conditions and prize money. It was a risky gamble that could have destroyed the sport. Instead, it revitalised it, largely because Sky Sports secured broadcasting rights and brought Sid Waddell along for the ride. In 1994, Sid joined Sky Sports, reuniting with Dave Lanning and teaming up with John Gwynn. Together, they became the holy trinity of darts commentary. Their partnership was telepathic, each knowing instinctively when to speak, when to pause, when to let the drama breathe. Sky's production values transformed darts presentation. Multiple cameras, dramatic lighting, enhanced graphics, walk-on music, and glitzy staging turned tournaments into events. But none of it would have mattered without the voice bringing it all to life. Sid became synonymous with PDC success. As Chairman Barry Hearn later reflected, Sid was synonymous with the success we've enjoyed. His enthusiasm for the sport drove us forward. He educated people to the beauty of the arrows. For nearly 2 decades, Sid's voice was the soundtrack to darts' golden age, narrating every dramatic comeback, every impossible finish, every historic moment as the sport exploded into mainstream consciousness. The 1st of August 2002, the World Match Play at Blackpool's Winter Gardens. Phil Taylor versus Chris Mason in the quarter-finals. The match was tied at 2-2 in legs when Taylor stepped up and threw a 180, then another 180. The crowd erupted. Everyone in the venue knew what was coming. Taylor hit treble 20, then treble 19. Then, with the entire building holding its breath, he nailed double 12. The first 9-dart finish broadcast live on British television, and Sid's voice captured it perfectly.
The first dart. Yes, he's got it. Treble 19. Double 12 for history! History! He's done it!
Double 12 for history. History. He's done it. He did the 9-darter. £100,000. That commentary became as legendary as the achievement itself. Dave Lanning added gravely, "You have to agree, that was a moment in television history." The 2007 World Championship final between Taylor and Raymond van Barneveld went to a sudden death leg. Sid's commentary throughout the epic match perfectly captured the drama, the tension, the unbearable pressure. Then came the 24th of May 2010, the Premier League final at Wembley. Taylor hit not one but 2 9-dart finishes in the same match against James Wade. Sid, commentating alongside Lanning, was genuinely speechless.
First time in darting history. They're both coming down in 9-darter style. First pop, treble 19. Double 12!
Dave Lanning say it, because I am gobsmacked. I am gobsmacked. Sid Waddell didn't just commentate on darts. He transformed it into theatre, into epic narrative, into art. His quotes became legendary, repeated in pubs and living rooms across the world. Each one a perfectly crafted gem mixing humour, history, and hyperbole. There's only one word for it. Magic darts became his signature phrase. Simple, yet somehow capturing everything wonderful about a perfect throw. His historical references were astonishing. If we'd had Phil Taylor at Hastings against the Normans, they'd have gone home. Alexander the Great, Roman gladiators, biblical figures. Literary characters all appeared regularly in his commentary, elevating pub sport to classical drama. His metaphors were brilliantly absurd. It's like trying to pin down a kangaroo on a trampoline. He looks about as happy as a penguin in a microwave. William Tell could take an apple off your head. Taylor could take out a processed pea. His character observations were devastating. Big Cliff Lazarenko's idea of exercise is sitting in a room with the windows open, taking the lid off something cool and fizzy. Sid himself knew the effect he created. He once said, 50% think I'm a genius. Rest think I'm probably mad and possibly have Tourette's syndrome. The truth, he was absolutely a genius, and the madness was carefully cultivated brilliance. Sid Waddell was far more than a voice in a booth. He was a prolific author with 11 published books to his name, each showcasing the same wit and passion that defined his commentary. His 2007 book, Bellies and Bullseyes, The Outrageous True Story of Darts, provided a sweeping, affectionate history of the sport, from pub origins to professional spectacle. It was shortlisted for the British Sports Book Awards, recognition of his literary talent. He ghost-wrote autobiographies for darts legends, including Jockey Wilson, Phil Taylor, and John Lowe, helping these champions tell their stories with authenticity and humour. His own memoir, The Road Back Home, chronicled his childhood in northeast England with warmth and honesty. The accolades accumulated. Daily Mirror readers voted him most popular TV sports commentator in both 2001 and 2002. In 2002, a panel of 75 fellow sports commentators named him Sports Commentator of the Year, recognition from the people who understood best just how difficult his job was. In 2008, Sid was inducted into the PDC Hall of Fame alongside Dave Lanning, an honour recognising their combined 30-plus years elevating darts through television. Former Sky Sports host Dave Clark called him a genius of the microphone, with a childlike exuberance mixed with the intellect of Einstein. In September 2011, Sid received devastating news. He'd been diagnosed with bowel cancer. For most people, it would have meant immediate retirement. But Sid Waddell wasn't most people. Darts was his life, and he refused to let the disease take that away without a fight. He continued commentating throughout his treatment, his voice occasionally weakening, but his passion never diminishing. He worked Premier League nights in 2012, still finding those perfect phrases, still practicing his ad-libs, still bringing joy to millions who had no idea how much pain he was enduring. The 2012 Premier League final became his last commentary. His voice, worn but undiminished in spirit, guided viewers through another night of extraordinary darts. Then, quietly, he stepped away. On the 11th of August 2012, one day after his 72nd birthday, Sid Waddell passed away at his home in Harrogate, North Yorkshire. The outpouring of grief was immediate and overwhelming. Players, fellow commentators, fans, and even people who'd never watched darts mourned the loss. Phil Taylor, whose greatest moments Sid had narrated, was heartbroken. He was like a father figure to me. He was my biggest fan. I used to tell him to his face, "You are nuts," but he was a one-off, a real character. In 2013, the PDC made a decision that perfectly captured Sid's impact. The World Darts Championship Trophy, the sport's most prestigious honour, was renamed the Sid Waddell Trophy. Every world champion would now lift silverware bearing his name, ensuring his legacy would endure as long as darts existed. Phil Taylor became the first player to lift the Sid Waddell Trophy in January 2013, defeating Michael van Gerwen in a fitting final. Taylor called it one of the proudest moments of his astonishing career. It was extra special to become the first man to lift the trophy, named after Sid. There will never be another Sid Waddell. Barry Hearn, PDC president, summed it up perfectly. In the world of sport, the word legend is often overused, but in Sid Waddell, it's an understatement. He was a very smart guy, a very bright man, but he never lost his love for working-class people. Dave Lanning added his own tribute. He ranks alongside the great original commentators of all time. He will be remembered as one of the immortals. Sid Waddell transformed darts from a pub pastime into a global phenomenon. His voice brought drama to every throw, poetry to every finish, and humanity to every player. He saw potential where broadcasting executives saw nothing. He believed in darts when others dismissed it. The miner's son from Northumberland became the Shakespeare of the Ocky, the voice who became the soul of darts. And every time a player lifts that trophy, his legacy echoes again. There's only one word for it: magic darts.